Watching a Michael Caine movie is like pulling on a favourite jumper or pair of slippers. There's something comfy about his films and so many of the characters he plays. Sure, he's been cast as a villain every so often, but we tend to remember him for those warm and familiar roles, like his turn as the lovable rogue in the 60s hit Alfie. Almost 50 years and 100 films have passed since that breakout performance. And Sir Michael hasn't skipped a beat. He's still winning over audiences and the odd reporter with his signature mix of charisma and that Cockney common touch. By your own description, you were a baby born with weak bones, your ears stuck out, you had puffy eyelids, and as a kid, you had a nervous facial tic. How did you ever become a movie star?
I haven't the faintest idea. Good morning.
But a movie star, Michael Caine certainly is.
Like it?
Looks very expensive.
He grew into one of the most sought-after leading men of our time.
I finally came to the frustrating conclusion that I had taste and style.
Now what would you like?
Everything.
Alfie, do you love me?
Well, shall we say, I like you a lot.
And now, at 77, while he may no longer be cast as the heartthrob, the movie business isn't done with him yet.
I'm not sure you made it loud enough, sir.
He starred in the latest Batman series and most recently as an angry vigilante in Harry Brown.
There's a difference. You're either a movie star or you're the leading male actor, you know, which is what I now am. I can't be a movie star because I can't get the girl and lose the girl and then get her back again. For the rest of my life, the only girl I'm going to kiss in a movie will be played by my daughter.
And was that a hard realisation for you?
No, I was very happy. It's back to real acting again.
What's more fulfilling?
Oh, it's much more fulfilling, but not in the bank. It's less filling in the bank, but more fulfilling in the...
Hello? Right, we can begin. My name is...
Alfie?
44 years ago, Alfie was Michael Caine's big break, a movie he got to kiss a lot of girls in, and one that made him a star, not just at home in Britain, but also in Hollywood, where he was nominated for his first Oscar.
Oh, what are you so impatient about?
Alfie was a shameless rogue who bedded and discarded women on a whim. Perfect for its time and perfect casting for Michael Caine.
After what we'd just been through together, it made me really mad. After all, there's a time and a place for everything.
Back in the UK, a lot of people thought you were actually Alfie, didn't they?
Yes, well, I was young. It was the 60s. I was going out with girls. Alfie was young. It was the 60s. He was going out with girls. But the difference between Alfie and I was the way he thought of women and the way he treated them. Also, his standard of women wasn't... I mean, he was one of those guys who would, shall we say, make a pass at any woman, no matter what she looked like. I only do very beautiful women. Oh. I'm afraid I'm the biggest snob in that area.
But you were a lad about town, weren't you?
Oh, very much so, yeah. I mean, I was young, I was rich, I was famous, so, you know, took away a lot of the difficulty.
Yeah, you had an easy go there,
yeah.
An easy ride. What about drugs in the 60s? Did you ever dabble?
No, we were all alcohol, you see.
So you never tried dope or LSD or anything like that?
I tried marijuana once, and I laughed for 5 hours. I thought I was going to get a hernia. And I was at a party, and I tried to get a cab home, and I was standing on the corner waving at cabs, you know, at 2 o'clock in the morning, roaring with laughter. And of course, no cab would stop for this lunatic, and I had to walk home. Someone had nicked my girlfriend, and I hadn't noticed. I thought, this is a bloody mugs game.
Before the swinging 60s, well before the fame that came with Alfie, Michael Caine was Cockney kid Maurice Micklewhite, the son of a cleaning lady and a fish porter. They lived in Elephant and Castle, one of the poorest and toughest neighbourhoods in South London, not a place known for breeding softer souls like actors. How realistic were your dreams to be an actor?
I think in the end they became an obsession so that it didn't matter. I became so obsessive that I was going to be an actor And it's very funny because sometimes people say, do you ever give advice to young actors? And I say no, because every actor I ever spoke to told me to give it up. With quite a sensible explanation, you know, your accent, Michael, your look, you know.
So why didn't you listen?
Because I am nuts. I think if you become an actor, there's something you're slightly off your rocker. It was psychotic. I couldn't give it up. I refused to be a failure.
Michael Caine's obsession and obstinance was in part born from desperation. If he didn't make it in the movies, like generations of Micklewhite men before him, he was destined for a working life at the Billingsgate fish markets.
It was very funny because about 3 years ago, there was this massive banquet in this great big banqueting hall, which is what Billingsgate Fish Market had been turned into. And I'm looking around, and I'm sitting there, and I'm drinking champagne, and I'm eating caviar, and I suddenly figured out that is where my dad still was. It's amazing.
Does that upset you?
Oh, yeah, it just upset me just saying. I don't want to continue with that story. No, but it did.
Do you want to tell me why it upsets you now?
Well, no, because, you know, it was so long ago, and the life was so hard, and here was I.
So you're comparing your life today
My
to
life.
what it was.
Oh, my God.
Or your dad's life?
My life wasn't even better than my father's. My life was out of all compared to anything that I ever dreamed of. A reporter once said to me, he said, do you believe in God? I said, if you had my life, you'd have to.
It's been that good?
Yeah.
I'm here to rescue you. Come quickly.
I've got a better idea. Why don't you rescue me in about, 7 or 8 minutes, eh?
A life so good and so big, it's a pleasure just to hear him speak about it. Michael Caine has so much to talk about, he's just written his second autobiography, in which, in glamorous detail, he writes about his time working and living in Hollywood.
We're here to conquer this country, aren't we? Yeah. Well, with you as a god, it would take half the time and half the trouble.
But for all his tantalising tidbits about the movie game, it's Michael's private life that is the most fascinating. His personal account of hardship and tragedy. Let's talk about your mum now.
Yeah, oh, blimey. This is a very funny book, by the way. I picked this up. I'm not going to buy that. I'll be in tears the whole way through.
Your mum died with a terrible secret that you only found out sometime after her death.
I had an illegitimate half-brother who was in an asylum because he had been put in a sort of workhouse nursery where they had stone floors, and he had epilepsy. And of course, he beat himself into insensibility and spent the rest of his life in an asylum. I went to see him and you know, I fixed him up, got everything dead right and all that. But after about 2 years, he died. Yeah, he was 6 years older than me.
Could you imagine your mum keeping that secret for such a long time?
50 years. My father never knew, nobody ever knew. Because if she'd have told my father, he would never have married her, I would have imagined, you know. You know what they were like in those days.
Good night, sweet prince.
Michael Caine's own early days were all about becoming an actor. But 2 years of national service meant that dream was put on hold. He was sent to fight in Korea as a machine gunner. You've described your experience in Korea as the most terrifying of your life.
Oh, yeah, war is, I don't care what anyone says, it is the most terrifying thing that could ever happen to you.
Are you allowed to ask a soldier this? Did you kill anyone?
It was dark and I was a machine gunner. What do you think?
Yes, you did.
But I never killed anyone like that. Or like that. I was a machine gunner. So I probably miss most people know me. You know?
Did you come close to dying?
Yeah, I had an experience. I thought I was going to die, and I'd always wonder what my reaction would be. Would I be a coward? Would I run away? Or would I? And my reaction surprised me, but it remained with me the rest of my life. I just decided that my death was going to be as expensive as possible. I would just kill as many people as I possibly could. Absolutely determined.
So that gives you a certain peace, a certain comfort in
It's
yourself.
absolute peace of mind for the rest of my life. The thing about it was that I knew I wasn't a coward, because I'd always had a suspicion that I was.
Back from the war, Michael spent 9 long years treading the boards of local theatre.
Norman should be in there by now.
He didn't land his first movie role until he was nearly 30.
Sit back, missus. You got a long ride yet.
Unbelievably, success was almost immediate. He was a hit.
Who said you could use my men?
They were sitting around on their backsides doing nothing.
Rather you asked first, old boy.
But then Michael is a late bloomer. He didn't find true love, his current wife, Shakira, until he was 38. And then it was instant and forever. Do you remember the very first moment you saw Shakira?
Yes, I do. Yeah, my best friend was a guy called Paul Challen, who was, like me, an out-of-work actor, but I'd become famous, but he'd remained out of work. And so we did something we'd never done. We watched television. We had a television, but we never watched it. So we turned the television on to see what it was like. And then a commercial came on for Maxwell House Coffee. And there was this girl, and she was the most stunning creature I've ever seen in my life. And I became so excited, you know. I got sat on the floor right in front of the television so I could see her face, look really close. And I was saying to Paul, "That's the one." He said, "What one?" I said, "That girl." I said, "I've got to find that girl." He said, "What for?" I said, "I'm in love with that girl." He said, "What are you, nuts?" I said, "We're going to Brazil tomorrow. Look, she's in Brazil."
I must admit, she really is an eyeful.
Shakira was not in Brazil. She was in fact living just 20 minutes away. And by a strange twist of fate, Michael mentioned her to a mate who was able to get her number. But it took Michael 10 days to convince her to meet him.
And I opened the door and there was this stunning girl standing there. I said, "Come in." And that was the end of that.
Come into my lair. But you didn't just fall in love with her looks, did you?
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, and then I fell in love with her. Then I stayed in love with her for the rest of my life, and will do.
I am in love with you.
Oh, don't say those words.
I'm sorry, I know it's terrible.
Charming in life and charming on the screen.
And what do they call you round here?
Sir? But you may call me Frank.
Michael Caine has been in close to 100 films, many considered classics. At 77, with 2 Oscars and a knighthood under his belt, adored by his fans and still in demand, it's a long way from the struggle of South London.
What's it all about, Alfie?
I'm more than proud. I'm grateful because I feel that I've been very, very, very lucky.
So when I say to you, Michael, what's it all about?
It's all about being there and staying there.
Will there be a day when you stop?
No. No, you know what happens in the movie business? You don't retire in the movie business. The movie business retires you. I may be stopped because if I don't get a script that I want to do again, I'm gone. There'll be no announcement, no fanfare. I'll just be like the old soldier I am. I just fade away. You know, I just go. But I'm happy.
And it hasn't spat you out yet?
No, I don't think it will. I taste too good.
Coming up.
Sign me up. This is my excitement.
On stage with Matchbox 20. How much did you enjoy success and excess?
I was told that I had a very nice time.
30 years of touring their hits.
It is like being married, but we're well past the 7-year age.
And now, thanks to a push by Barbie's Ken,
And it really was hilarious.
a whole new generation of fans. What's more important, to be recognised as a songwriter or as a singer?
Purely sex symbol.
That's next on 60 Minutes.